The last message from a dead captain echoed through the void, and it proved our victory was a lie. The silence of the galaxy was a heavy, suffocating blanket. For 2 long cycles, we had believed it was a silence of peace. Captain Aristhane had activated the Titan's heart device at the core of the Forlock swarm, a sacrifice that shattered their collective consciousness and ended the war in an instant. Their nightmarish vessels disintegrated into cosmic dust. We, the shattered remnants of the Concord, drifted in the aftermath, victorious and utterly broken. But this quiet, it felt wrong. It felt like the stillness before a predator strikes. Commander Vex stood on the command deck of the Eternal Vigil, his multifaceted eyes scanning the endless dark. The final confrontation had occurred in the Blind Reach, a region where space-time itself had frayed. Now, it was a graveyard, a void where reality's rules bent and whispered. The war was over. So, why did every instinct scream they were being watched? His second, Brask, stood rigid beside him, her cybernetic arm glowing faintly. Long-range scans are picking up an anomaly. At the edge of the dead zone, Vex carapace plates tightened. Define anomaly. Brask manipulated a console. A holographic star map flickered to life. We dispatched probe drones into the Heart's detonation zone last month. All were lost. Today, one returned, but its data stream is corrupted. Static distorted the display. Then, for 3 seconds, a ripple of impossible energy flared, a shadow moving within the absolute dark. Then nothing. The probe signal vanished, not destroyed, but simply deleted. Vex replayed the sequence. The anomaly was undeniable. Any other incidents? Brask hesitated. A dozen, all from the furthest patrol routes. Ships gone. Sensor ghosts. And transmissions. Transmissions? Fragmented signals. Voices in dead channels. Some she met his gaze. Some matched Concord linguistic patterns. Human dialects. A cold dread seeped into Vex core. The Forlock are extinct. We saw them unmade. We once believed they were unstoppable, too, Brass said softly. The war had ended, but the darkness had learned to speak. The reports were a poison in Vex's mind. Whispers in the static, missing vessels. And now, a new signal, bleeding from the heart of the dead zone itself. The Vigil's tech priest cleaned the transmission, filtering layers of interference. What emerged was a voice, broken but chillingly clear. This is Captain Aristhane. Is anyone out there? The command deck froze. Vex's breath caught. He had heard Thane's final words. He had witnessed the sensor feeds as the Titan's heart ignited. That man was dead. Erased. It's a mimicry, Vex stated, his voice hollow. The human advisor, Lieutenant Cora, shook her head. I fought the Forlock for a decade. They consume, they overwrite. They don't deceive. They never needed to. She called up a biometric analysis. The vocal signature is a perfect match. No deviations. Perfect. That was the word that terrified him. Nothing from that event horizon should have survived intact. Yet the signal pulsed, a beacon from the impossible. If it was a trap, they had to understand its nature. If, by some blasphemy against physics, Thane lived, they had abandoned a hero to a fate worse than death. Set a course, Vex commanded, the weight of the decision settling on him. We're going back. A ghost fleet assembled, 30 warships, the last ragged defenders of a broken alliance. They slipped into the blind reach, and reality itself seemed to sicken. Sensors lied, showing utter emptiness one moment and chaotic energy storms the next. Space was shifting. The signal is constant, Cora reported. It's waiting for us. Vex ordered a probe launch ahead. It sped into the gloom, its feed stable for a moment before dissolving into digital screams. Then, through the garble, a voice, I told you I wasn't finished. The eternal vigil pushed forward, and a shape coalesced from the void. It was a resolute Aristhene's command ship. Its obsidian hull was pristine, untouched by the cataclysm that birthed it. It hung in the abyss, a monument to something that should not be. The boarding shuttle clamped onto the Resolute's silent airlock. The team, Vex, Brass, Cora, and 5 soldiers, stepped into a tomb. The ship was powered, life support humming, but it was empty. Not a soul, not a body. A profound, watchful absence. Then the whispers began, not in their comms, but in the air itself. You came back. We see you. Don't leave. Lights died. Helmet lamps cut beams through a darkness that felt viscous. A deep, resonant groan traveled to the hull, and the bulkheads rippled. The metal itself seemed to breathe. This is not the ship, Brass whispered, her weapon raised, and from the gloom ahead, a figure resolved. Captain Aristhain stood before them, uniform impeccable, expression calm. You shouldn't have returned. Vex aimed. You are not him. The thing wearing Thane's face smiled, a motion too precise. Aren't I? The lights flared. Thane vanished, and the darkness attacked. A formless mass of shifting shadow lunged from the wall, its shape flickering. One moment, a nightmare tendrils, the next a distorted image of a Concord Marine, face frozen in a silent scream. Plasma fire tore through it. It collapsed, dissolving into the deck. What was that? Cora breathed. Vex looked at the stain where it fell. A memory, a bad one, to the bridge. Now, they found the bridge in suspended animation, and there, at the central console, was the truth, a desiccated form, still clad in the captain's tattered uniform. The real, physical remains of Aristhain. Time had not touched this place normally. His body was reserved yet ancient, a grisly static. Yes, they watched. Its eyes opened, Vex fired without hesitation. The body jerked and fell still. Access the final log, Vex ordered, his voice rough. Cora worked the terminal. Thane's true, strained voice filled the chamber. Log entry final. If you hear this, you have found our tomb. The Titan's heart. It didn't kill the forelock. It broke the lock on a door. We didn't win the war. We simply let something else in. Something that was waiting behind them. Static crashed. I am not alive. I am an echo stuck in a wound. If you can hear me, they are listening. Run. The log ended. The silence was absolute. The click sounded behind them. In the doorway, the perfect Elias Thane stood again, untouched by the violence. I told you, it said. I'm still here. Weapons fired. Plasma passed through it. It stepped forward, and its face began to unravel. Skin peeling back into swirling darkness. A vortex of stolen faces and whispering voices. You opened the door. Let us in. The ship itself awoke. The walls contorted, forming grasping half-shapes. The Resolute was no longer a vessel. It was a door. It was swinging wide. Fall back! Vex roared. They ran, the very geometry of the hallways twisting against them. The shuttle was ahead, a sliver of salvation. Vex glanced back. The Thane entity stood at the corridor's end, its smile gone, replaced by a void of purpose. It's awake now, it said, its voice the chorus of the dead. You showed it the way out. Vex hurled himself into the shuttle. As they tore free from the docking clamps, he saw the Resolute behind them. It didn't explode. It imploded, folding in on itself and vanishing from reality, as if it had never been. Back on eternal vigil, the comms buzzed with confused requests for status. They had only been gone for seconds according to the fleet's clocks. Vex looked at Cora, her face ashen. They hadn't found a hero. They had performed an autopsy on a cosmic error. The Forelock were never the true enemy. They were merely the first symptom. The real war had been waiting in the silence, and now it knew they were here. If you felt that chill of a universe far stranger and more dangerous than we imagined, do this channel a solid. Smash the like button. It helps winds of thought bring you deeper into these terrifying frontiers. We think they let out of the dead zone. Let's discuss below.